He called my scar disgusting in front of his entire wedding party. 20 minutes later, a decorated Marine walked through that door and saluted me like I was a general. My brother's face went white. He had no idea what he'd just done. My name is Diane Whitfield. I'm 34 years old, and for 6 years, my younger brother Tyler believed I was the family embarrassment. The unemployed sister who lived above our parents' garage, who couldn't hold a job, who existed on their charity while he built his glamorous career in real estate. Every family gathering, he made sure everyone knew it. Every holiday dinner came with a fresh joke at my expense. What Tyler didn't know, what I was bound by federal law to never reveal, was that I spent 9 years as a combat medic and later a classified logistics coordinator for special operations units overseas. An injury ended my active service, but my clearance and my obligations didn't end with it. I couldn't tell my family what I really did. I couldn't tell them why I flinched at fireworks, or why I kept my left arm covered even in summer heat. I lived above the garage because after our father's heart surgery, someone needed to be close. I quietly paid off the surgery bills through a private account Tyler never knew existed. I let him. 3 weeks before his wedding, he insisted I come to the final tuxedo fitting at a boutique shop downtown. He said he wanted my opinion. The truth was simpler. He wanted an audience for his new life, and he wanted me there to remind everyone how far he'd climbed above his failure of a sister. I sat on the fitting room bench in a plain gray sweater, scrolling through an encrypted message thread on my phone, while Tyler admired himself in a charcoal suit surrounded by 4 groomsmen. "Try to look happy for me," he said. The room went quiet in a different way. I reached to pull my sleeve down, but I was too slow. His best man, Colton, a broad-shouldered, active-duty Marine sergeant who'd barely spoken all afternoon, had already seen it. The jagged line running from my wrist to my elbow, and beneath it, the small circular burn scar only a handful of people in the world would recognize for what it was. Colton's face drained of color. He stood up straighter, like his spine had locked into place. Tyler laughed. "Dude, relax, it's just my deadbeat sister." Colton didn't look at him. He pulled out his phone with a shaking hand, dialed, and said 4 words that changed everything. "She's here. Come now." Tyler's smile faltered. "What is wrong with you?" For the next 20 minutes, nobody spoke. Tyler paced, muttering about Colton losing his mind. I sat still, bracing myself, because I knew exactly who was coming. The glass door swung open, and 2 officers in dress uniforms stepped inside. Their eyes swept the room and landed on me. Without hesitation, both men straightened to attention and saluted. Tyler's jaw dropped. The color left his face entirely. The senior officer, a colonel with silver at his temples, lowered his hand. "Ma'am, we had no idea you were in the area. Sergeant Colton contacted us the moment he recognized the extraction scar. It's an honor." "Colonel," I said quietly, standing, "I've been keeping a low profile." Colton stepped forward, his voice unsteady. 4 years ago, my unit was pinned down in a valley with no way out. Everyone thought we were finished. The other groomsmen stared at Tyler with open disgust. He stumbled backward, stammering something that never turned into a full sentence. That should have been the end of it, but Tyler's humiliation curdled into something uglier. That night, he stormed into our parents' kitchen, his fiancée Renee trailing behind him, demanding to know why I'd humiliated him in front of his friends. "You made a fool of yourself, Tyler," I said, setting down my coffee. "I didn't do a thing." "Don't lie to me," he snapped, turning to our parents. "Did you 2 know about this? She's been hiding things from everyone." Our mother looked lost. Before she could answer, I reached into my bag and set a folder on the table. I'd protected his ego for 6 years. That protection was over. "Since we're talking about hiding things," I said, opening it, "let's talk about who really paid for Dad's heart surgery. It wasn't the insurance settlement you told everyone about. It was me, 3 years ago. I also cover his cardiac rehab every month." Renee's hands went to her mouth as she scanned the bank statements. I turned another page. "And your car lease, Tyler. Your wedding venue deposit. You told Renee you covered those with your commission bonus. You actually took out loans in Mom and Dad's names. Loans I quietly paid off last month so they wouldn't lose their house." The kitchen went silent. Renee looked at Tyler. The wedding, 3 weeks later, was a subdued affair. Colton made sure I sat in the front row, treated with a respect Tyler had never once shown me. Tyler stood at the altar looking smaller than I'd ever seen him, forced to reckon with the fact that his entire self-made image had been built on my silence. Afterward, I stopped protecting him. I moved my parents' house into an irrevocable trust so he could never borrow against it again. I cut off every account that had quietly funded his lifestyle and let him face his own debts for the first time in his adult life. As for me, I finally left the apartment. The scar Tyler mocked was never something to be ashamed of. It was proof of every sacrifice he never knew about, and in the end, It was the thing that finally showed everyone who I really was. If you were in my position, would you have cut Tyler off completely or given him one more chance to make things right? Tell me in the comments below. If this story moved you, like it, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories like this.